Let us pray. Almighty God, the creator and ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our actions so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, peace, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria in general and Lagos State in particular. Amen. Good morning, distinguished colleagues. You are all welcome to today's sitting. Let us go through the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 9th November 2019. Page 40, page 41, I have examined the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 5th November 2019, and approval is here granted. Any message from the governor?
Right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished honorable members, there is no message from the governor.
Any other announcements?
Mr. Speaker, sir, there is no announcement.
Petitions?
None, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Matter of urgent public importance? None. Personal explanations? None. Reports? None. Please move everybody out of that entrance, please. Thank you. Our business of the day. Majority Leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. Today's session will witness the presence of the governor to present the budget of 2020 for the state. To that extent, and to the extent that there are some other strangers in the chamber, Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that Order 129 of the harmonized rules of this House be resuscitated to admit strangers into the chambers. I so move.
Honorable Yinka Ogundimu.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion has been moved by the majority leader.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Yeah, let me seize this moment to welcome our guests, and such shall be taken as the protocol. Dr. Quadri Obafemi Amsad, Deputy Governor, you are most welcome, sir. We thank you for coming. Former Deputy Governor, we have the First Lady, Dr. Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu. You are most welcome, ma'am. We thank you for coming. Well, we have the former Deputy Governors. The names are not listed here. We thank you all for coming. Member of State Executive Council, we thank you for coming. Former speakers, well, this is a territory. You have to get their names. We have to recognize them, especially the speakers that are around, the former one. Please kindly take their names. Members of Lagos State Legislators' Wives Association, LSHA, we thank you for coming, ma'am. Thank you. Husband of Lagos State Female Legislators, LSLOCO, we thank you. We thank you. The Head of Service, Mr. Akim Muriokwala, you are most welcome. Body of Permanent Secretaries, Lagos State, we thank you for coming. Heads of Extra Ministerial Departments and Agencies, we thank you all for coming. Members of ECO Legislative Forum, those are the former members of this House. We thank you all for coming. Mr. Tayo Aide, Chief of Staff, we thank you for coming. Our Kabiyesi, Obaril one of Kiolu, Kabiyesi, Alailua. Members of Lagos State House of Assembly Service Commission, you are all welcome. We thank you. Our party leaders, Prince Tanjuddin Olusi, we thank you, sir, for coming. Otumba Bushirali Bioshu, you are most welcome. Cardinal James Odunbaku, thank you for coming, sir. Senator Anthony Adefuye, you are most welcome. Prince Rabi Oluwa, thank you, sir. Otumba Dele Ajomale, you are most welcome. Dr. Fini Abayomi, we thank you, sir, for coming. Chief M.A. Taiwo, you are most welcome. Our own Professor Tunde Samuel, you are most welcome, sir. Mr. Lawale Edo, thank you for coming. Omobamuiwa Sosoya, we thank you, sir. Chief Larry Rasak KLM, you are most welcome. Chief Olorunfunmi Basharun, you are most welcome, sir. Alhaji Shakiro Akoni Seriki Bamu, we thank you for coming, sir. Omoba Mofe Adetoro, you are most welcome. Chief Mrs. Kemi Nelson, Southwest Women Leader, you are most welcome, and we thank you. Mrs. Omolola Essen, Chairman Conference 57, you are most welcome. Mr. Ayoku Liadi, Managing Director, UBA, we thank you for honoring us, sir. Alhaji Shakir Gafar, Chief Imam of Lagos State, you are most welcome, sir. Honorable Mrs. Jumoke Okoya Thomas, APC Women Leader, thank you for coming, ma. Commander Igneous U. Omeji, Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, Lagos State, you are welcome, sir. Oba Amba Liu Akim Agbedeyi, Alaige of Orile Agege, Kabiyesi, you are most welcome, sir. Oba Said Elegushi of Ikatelan, Kabiyesi, you are most welcome, sir. Other royal fathers, we thank you for coming. Members of the White Cap Chiefs, you are welcome, sir. Thank you, sir. Captains of industries, member of diplomatic corps, body of local government and SCDA chairmen, member of All Progressive Congress, gentlemen of the press, you are also welcome. The name of Oba Yoguri of Ikorodu is not on the list. That is very unusual. It's always with us. Honorable Justice Kasim Malugba, the Chief Judge, Lagos State, you are welcome, sir. We thank you for coming, sir. Thank you, sir. This is our own, our brother, our friend, our former colleague, now a distinguished Senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria, and our leader, Senator Bayo Oshino Peperito. You are most welcome, sir. We thank you for coming. Alhaji Oshiyemi, we thank you for coming. Senator Shaya Ogunlewe, former Minister of Federal Republic of Nigeria, we thank you for coming. Members of National Assembly here present, thank you for coming. Former clerks of the House, we thank you for coming. Our party chairman, our Progressive Congress, Lagos State Chapter, Honorable Tunde Balogun, we thank you for coming, sir. Thank you very much for coming. Well, I hope I have recognized everyone here present. If you have not been mentioned specifically, it's not with intention to disrespect your person, just accommodate us. Orí pé gba ká má mọ̀ tẹ́ni kó tó ṣe bí òwe yín kábíyèsí. Let me personally recognize my own wife here, playing very adequate supportive role all the time. And from her to the rest of Last Level. Honorable Chief Mrs. Valilat Olusola Obasa, thank you for coming, man. Thank you for your support always. Well, over to you. Let's hear from you, Cora Group. Thank you very much. Let me also recognize Dr. Dolapo Badru, Lagos State Caucus Leader, House of Reps. We thank you for coming. Honorable Prince Kayode Akinolu, we thank you for coming. Honorable Wolabi James, you are most welcome. Honorable Mufuta Egberongbe, House of Reps, we thank you for coming. Alhaji Olorunfunmi Ojo Press Leader, you are recognized, and the former Deputy Governor. You are all welcome. We appreciate your presence here. Can you please invite the Mr. Governor in? Now that Excellency is no more to be pronounced, so we start learning to call Mr. Governor.
Some of the bills passed to law in the first assembly were fighting for the establishment of Lagos State Judicial.
Maybe sit down. You are most welcome, your Mr. Governor. It's going to take time to get used to Mr. Governor. We are used to His Excellency, His Excellency. So I hope where we call Excellency, we won't be penalized. So try and understand. Before we go further, let us welcome Mr. Governor.
Lagos State House of Assembly in retrospect. First Assembly was inaugurated on the 2nd October 1979 at 122 Oduduwa Street, GRA Ikeja, with 36 members in sitting. 91 bills were passed in total, and the duration of the assembly was from October 2nd, 1979 to September 30th, 1983. The principal officers were late Right Honorable Oladosu Oshinowo, Speaker representing Ikorodu Urban 2. Late Right Honorable Chief Oladimeji Longe, Deputy Speaker representing Itire Ikate. Alhaji M.A. Muse Ariyo, Parliamentary Leader Surulere 2. Alhaji L.B. Odusi, Deputy Parliamentary Leader Ijumago. Mr. J.A. Adams, Chief Whip Epe North. Alhaji B.O. Odu Onikosi, Deputy Chief Whip Badagry Central. Some of the bills passed to law in the First Assembly were a law providing for the establishment of Lagos State Electoral Commission, a law providing for the establishment of Lagos Lagos State House of Assembly in retrospect. First Assembly was inaugurated on the 2nd October 1979
Kábíyèsí
at 122
Aláyélúwà
Oduduwa Street.
Ọba Aréléwọ̀nù Akíọ̀lú Kábíyèsí o. I didn't know you are with us this morning. You are most welcome, sir. Thank you. Kábíyèsí Amarimba. Yes, sir. Your Excellency, Mr. Governor of Lagos State, you see, I've taken the apology earlier, and I hope we won't be penalized, but with time we will surely get used to it. So we'll be taking it together till we get used to Mr. Governor. Let me welcome you once again on behalf of my colleagues, management and staff of Lagos State House of Assembly. Sure, you are set to make the presentation of the year 2020 budget estimate. Mr. Governor, sir, over to you.
The Right Honorable Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, and other principal officers of this hallowed chamber, members of the Lagos State House of Assembly. I'm indeed excited to be here this morning, but it's a very long protocol list. So, Mr. Speaker, you permit me to quickly just run down and acknowledge as many people as I can this morning. The Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Kadri Obafemi Hamzat, and his amiable wife, Mrs. Oluremi Hamzat, the First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, my darling wife, the Chief Judge of Lagos State, Honorable Justice Kazeem Alugba, members of the National Assembly here present, especially I can recognize the distinguished Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who was once a member of this chamber, Honorable Senator Bayo Oshinowo. Other members of the House of Assembly, Federal House of Representatives here present, former deputy governors here present, members of the State Executive Council, members of the body of permanent secretary here present, our leaders, the GAC leadership here present, I acknowledge each and every one of you individually and collectively.
Lagos State Model City Development Authority Law.
Your Royal Majesty, the Oba of Lagos, Obari I Akiolu the First, the Olu Eko himself, I use you to acknowledge and appreciate all other royal fathers that are here this morning present, and of course, all our white cap chiefs and other title holders. Chairman of our Conference 57, acknowledge each and every one of you. Service commanders here present, captains of the industry here present. I think I must acknowledge our ladies in elegant green attire. I imagine they are the wives of their honorable members. I acknowledge each and every one of you so elegantly dressed this morning. Thank you so very much. Thank you. I think they deserve a round of applause. I think so. Thank you. They're the ones that have brought beauty to this place this morning. Thank you so very much. Of course, members of our great party, I have acknowledged the APC chairman, who is also a member of GAC, but I acknowledge you, our chairman, and other EXCO members and other party leaders here present this morning. I acknowledge each and every one of you. Former speakers here present, market men and women, invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I think I have another list of protocols here, but I think we've done more than enough. I want to, at this stage, crave your indulgence to stand on all of the established protocols. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's an honor and a great one to be here this morning to deliver my budget speech, the very first one of this administration. Let me, on this momentous occasion of my very first appearance before you, Mr. Speaker, and honorable members of the Lagos State House of Assembly, start by congratulating all of you, new and returning members, on your well-deserved victory at the polls and on your efforts and achievement over the last 5 to 6 months in office. In this same vein, I must thank you all once again for the cooperation we have received and enjoyed since we came into office. You handled the screening of nominees of the Lagos State Executive Council with promptness and seriousness, followed by the commitment you showed when we requested for a rewording of the 2019 budget. You better align with our development agenda. It is our candid prayer that this cordial and productive relationship will continue to be the norm throughout our tenure. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, in my inauguration speech on May 29, 2019, I declared to good people of Lagos State, and I quote, "While Lagos glimmers as a beacon of progressive and quality governance, our nation now undergoes a historic battle to establish progressive and just governance. Lagos must again rise and help lead this nation to fuller progress and to a closer realization of the greatness that exists within all Nigerians. This inauguration symbolizes such awakening." End of quote. This quote set the tone for my presentation to you today, and by extension captures the essence of our 2020 Lagos State budget. We all came into office with a clear and indisputable mandate to govern our people diligently and conscientiously, to serve them to the best of our ability. We were elected on the basis of a robust plan of our party, and more importantly, on our 6-pillar developmental agenda, which we call project teams, which set out in a conscious manner the priorities of our great party and our administration in the areas of traffic management and transportation, in the areas of health and the environment, in the areas of education and technology, in making Lagos a 21st century true economy, in the areas of entertainment and tourism, and finally, in the area of security and good governance. On this note, Mr. Speaker and honorable members, I have the privilege to stand before you to present the 2020 budget proposal, which we have christened the budget of awakening. This is a momentous occasion enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The preparation, presentation, and consideration of an annual budget by the executive and the legislature respectively rank amongst the most important and impactful function of the democratic governance. So, by this, we are acting within the ambit of the Constitution and the laws of our land. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, our national economy, having recovered from recession, is gradually picking up and has recorded 9 consecutive quarters of growth. However, at about 2% GDP growth, the recovery is slow and is still very fragile. Lagos, like other states, is not immune to the issues faced nationally and even globally. Global economic factors like the drop in the crude oil prices, the environmental challenges like rising sea levels, which we have seen more in Lagos, that affects our state and its economy. As one of the fastest growing cities in the world, hosting 10% of the country's population, less than 0.4% of the entire landmass of this country, Lagos, indeed, has its own special set of challenges. And some of the challenges are unemployment. It includes infrastructural deficit. We have challenge of climate change. We have high levels of unchecked and rural-urban migration. On a more optimistic note, the size of our economy and the scale of entrepreneurial resourcefulness have also traditionally commanded continental and global attention. Indeed, as of 2018, according to various available data, Lagos now ranks the 7th largest economy in Africa, larger than the economies of Ghana, of Rwanda, of Kenya. Just last month, Lagos was acknowledged by the World Bank for a significant contribution to Nigeria's impressive performance in the World Bank Ease of Doing Business Index. I think Lagos deserves a round of applause. I am confident that with the creativity, ingenuity, and resilience of our people and the determination of this administration, our aspiration for a greater Lagos, a prosperous Lagos, a safe and secure Lagos is very much on course. Mr. Speaker and honorable members of the Lagos State House of Assembly, the objective of the year 2020 budget proposal include to attract private sector investment into the state economy by creating an enabling environment for them to thrive and do well, by aggressively develop and upgrade and maintain our infrastructure, to invest in our human capital development in the area of education and health, to facilitate sustainable social investment and enterprise. The budget also will seek to improve capacity to collect due revenues as efficiently as possible. We will strive to improve civic participation in governance and automate public service and engagement. We will strive to build an impactful partnership with both the federal government, other states, and development partners and the civil society at large. We will ensure that we improve the quality of the environment and our public spaces generally. To review the 2019 budget performance, Mr. Speaker, honorable members of this hallowed chamber, as you are aware, the 2019 budget proposal was prepared and presented before you for consideration and subsequently approval before this administration came on board. One of my very first tasks when I assumed office as governor was to sign the 2019 appropriation bill into law on the 3rd of June 2019. In the 5 months or so that this budget has come to become effective, our administration has commissioned projects in line with our team's agenda, including but not limited to the following. We had completed and opened the maternal and child care centers in Etiosa and also the one in Alimosho. We had completed and commissioned housing projects in Latif Jakonde Estate at Igondo. We have donated various security vehicles and equipment to our security operatives. We have also within that period launched our Blue Box waste recycling program to bring about waste management in Lagos State in the 21st century and kickstart a positive transformation of our citizens' behavior. Several other projects are nearing completion, which include 31 roads in the Ijokoro, Ijayi, Ifako axis of Lagos State, the ready-to-be-commissioned high courts and magistrate court complexes in Etiosa local government, the police command center at Ojo local government, just to mention but a few. Working with honorable members of this esteemed house, we achieved the reordering of this budget. This includes a plan to increase borrowing by way of internal loans and bond issuance. We had presented before and approved, and you have given us approval, a total of 250 billion to address critical infrastructural needs. And these needs include public school rehabilitation program, which will transform over 300 public schools across the state. Road infrastructure project, which will include the construction of the Lagos-Badagry Express Road, the completion of the Agege Pen Cinema overhead bridge, the Agric Ishawo Road, the Bola Ahmed Igbobo Road in Ikorodu, the Ikoyi and Victoria Land CBD reconstruction projects, and of course, our effort to ensure that we keep a zero tolerance of potholes program all around the state. We have indeed started another set of 116 roads across the state to ensure that we give our people relief on a daily basis. Of course, we will continue with the construction of the rail projects, the construction and completion of maternal and child center at Badagry in Epe and Ojo local government. We will continue with the desilting of our major drain system and build new drainage across the state. We will continue the provision of security and emergency equipment for all our security and emergency operatives. Despite these loans, our sustainability ratio of total debt service to total revenue remains good at 29%, and we still intend to achieve a capital to recurrent expenditure ratio of 55 to 45 by the end of 2019. Thank you. Let me also state that we're committed to ensuring that all borrowings are done in the most responsible fiscal terms possible whatsoever. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, permit me to inform you that as at September 2019, the overall budget performance stood at 69%. The total revenue as at then is 468.7 billion, which represent about 78% of the target performance. As at September 2019, our capital expenditure stood at about 217.8 billion, representing about 61%, whilst our recurrent expenditure performs at about 79%. While these outcomes are generally below our own expectations, we have taken steps through our reordering exercise, graciously approved by this House to redirect the budget for a significant performance by the end of 2019. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of this House, I will now move on to give the highlights of the 2020 budget, which is fully consistent with our team's agenda and gives priority to completion of all ongoing projects. The proposed budget size for year 2020 is 1.168 trillion naira. 1.168 trillion naira. It's to be funded by a total revenue of 1.071 trillion naira and a deficit of about 97.5 billion naira. The budget size will be higher than the 2019 budget by about 34%. Capital expenditure amounts to about 723.6 billion, whilst the recurrent expenditure will be about 441.8 billion, giving us a 62 to 38 capital to recurrent ratio. This, in our view, is strong for development. We have placed an increased focus on wealth creation, where we will take deliberate step in cutting our partnership between our people and various development institutions. In line with this, we have provided 11.8 as counterpart fund in preparation for various social impact schemes. In addition, we had made provision for 7.1 billion this year to provide for industrial hubs, for parks, graduate internship program, and virtual markets for artisans. This is in support of our micro, small, and medium enterprises, which are the engines for growth, economic, and employment generally. It is equally proposed that in the 2020 budget, we will have 167.8 billion for our recurrent expenditure, which shall be applied towards our personnel costs and other staff-related expenses. This represents about 22% of the proposed total revenue, which is within acceptable 25% of total revenue, and includes, of course, the provision of the minimum wage to be paid. The budget deficit of 97.5 billion naira will be financed responsibly by both internal and external borrowing. Since revenue generation is the spin of any budget, this budget supports investment in our revenue generating agencies. As mentioned earlier, Mr. Speaker, this budget seeks to aggressively invest in and develop our education, health, and other fiscal infrastructure sectors. Although our capital spent on works and infrastructure in the current year is just under 35 billion as at September 2019, as against a proposed budget of 78 billion, it is our intention to spend a total of 115 billion in the 2020 budget. Education will see a significant increase in capital budgetary allocation to the tune of 48 billion, an increase of about 60% over the 2019 provision of 30 billion naira. We must improve the standard and relevance of the education outcomes of our various levels in that sector. We will work together with our local government to strengthen early child education, teachers training and administration, of course leveraging on technology. Similarly, in our healthcare, we have provided for a capital expenditure of 33 billion compared to the 2019 budget proposal of 21 billion. We will ensure that our primary healthcare institutions remain active and are attractive to the primary healthcare of our people. Lagos belongs to all. We will continue to therefore drive partnership with the private sector in promoting health services within our various institutions. Mr. Speaker, given the perennial challenges of flooding in our metropolis, we have tripled the capital budget provision from the 3 billion we have in the 2019 budget to almost 10 billion in our 2020 budget. Permit me to highlight some unique things about this budget proposal. First, in putting it together, we held consultative fora across the 3 senatorial districts, in addition to the memoranda and feedback from various stakeholder meetings organized by members of the House within your various constituencies, which were also attended by cabinet members. It is indeed true that when Lagos speaks, this administration truly really listens, because this budget has gone to almost every nook and cranny, taking into cognizance what their requests are, what your findings with your various constituencies engagement were, and this has been the crux of fashioning out this budget we're presenting. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, this 2020 budget will be supported by a performance management system that will ensure that by December 2020, we shall achieve an optimal budget implementation when compared with previous years. This is in line with our commitment to transparency and accountability in the management of our public finances. Rethinking Lagos. Mr. Speaker and honorable members of this House, as highlighted earlier, Adia Lagos faces an existential threat arising from interplay of demographic and climate change. Lagos is and will continue to be the magnet for multitudes within and outside Nigeria in search of jobs and economic prosperity. This level of migration put phenomenal strain on the physical and fiscal resources of the state. The choices before us is simple. We can either allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by the challenges, or we boldly confront them. I am energized, and I believe all of us in this room are, because all through the course of history, communities are faced with existential threats at some point or the other. And what has made the difference time and again is an acknowledgement of these threats and the collective willpower to take decisive action, however seemingly difficult it may be in the short term. It is therefore time to imagine a new Lagos, a greater Lagos. It is time to create and realize new and audacious dreams, targets, and goals that we must drive for ourselves. We have seen societies transform within the course of 2 generations, from being trapped in a circle of wars, mindless plunder, high rate of poverty, illiteracy, and crime. And we've seen them transform into livable, high-performing, world-dominating economics. Lagos will do it. Lagos can do it. With all of you, we will do it. But like all great things, this will come at a cost. We have to make sacrifice for it. We have to reinvent and to rethink Lagos. With our very small landmass and a very dense population, we have to rethink our land use. We have to rethink our intercommunal relationship. We have to rethink our infrastructural development. We have to rethink our transport system. We have to rethink our well-being. We have to move from the glib statements about Lagos being the center of excellence. Lagos has to truly be excellent in something positive, something remarkable, something admirable. In other words, a greater Lagos that we see. It is on this plan, Mr. Speaker, that our 2020 budget of awakening to a greater Lagos is premised. And I thereby, with your kind permission, present the 2020 budget for your consideration and for your approval. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Àní tẹ̀síwájú là wá wá. Lagos State House of Assembly. Current speaker lọ́ba sáà gègé. Lagos State House of Assembly. Current speaker lọ́ba sáà gègé. Lagos State House of Assembly. Gbogbo 8 assembly. Lagos State House of Assembly. Ajayi Ògìgbì Olúmi ọba sáà gègé. Lagos State House of Assembly. Alọ́bàṣá ló jẹ́ spíkà. Lagos State House of Assembly. Deputy speaker lọ́sùlọ́kùn tí ń jẹ́ wá sí ìlú. Lagos State House of Assembly. Ìgbòkò yín bàjáyé títí. Ẹ má gbàgbé gọ́fúnà Akínyìn ọmọ Tàǹpàdé. Lagos star 50. Lagos State House of Assembly. Mo tara tí mo ká síwájú lídà. Lagos State House of Assembly. Ọmọ olódò tẹ Tinubu Àkànbí ní lídà. Lagos State House of Assembly. Àkànbí ní lídà ẹgbẹ́ wa o. Lagos State House of Assembly. Lagos star 50. Lagos State House of Assembly. Ìtẹ̀síwájú là wá wá. Lagos State House of Assembly. Ìtẹ̀síwájú lè kó wá. Lagos State House of Assembly. Ìtẹ̀síwájú lè kó wá o. Lagos State House of Assembly.
Well, thank you, Mr. Governor. For the presentation and laying of 2020 budget. As I said earlier, permit me to adopt the introduction as the protocol. On behalf of my colleagues and our highly dedicated staff, it gives me a great pleasure to heartily welcome you all to this occasion of the formal presentation of year 2020 budget by Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Executive Governor of Lagos State. Before anything at all, we give praise and adoration to the Almighty Allah, the giver and taker of life, the one who reverses the irreversible, for giving us the opportunity to witness this significant budget presentation. ladies and gentlemen, we have all listened with rapt attention to how the wealth of our state will be utilized for our common good in year 2020 with the presentation of the budget size 1,368,584,101 naira, themed budget of reawakening to a greater Lagos. The responsibility is now on the members of this house to do the needful, and I assure you that we will meticulously perform our constitutional duty. Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, I commend you for being astute, courageous, insightful, forthright, thorough, and determined. You have really displayed during your few months in office that you are capable to maintain a track record of resourceful consistency in the state. Mr. Governor, Mr. Governor, your actions so far have shown the zeal, desire, and passion in you to get things done, to fix what has been left undone, to move the Lagos state forward. Hence, we believe that the content of the budget will serve this purpose in making life worthy of living for our people in Lagos state. As is evident, the year 2020 appropriation bill is significant in that it is the first budget proposal to be presented by Mr. Governor. This will give him the opportunity to encapsulate his vision and mission for us all, as the budget will lay the foundation for this. For this singular reason, we are all hopeful and expectant that this coming year will witness more of democracy dividends for betterment of Lagos and Lagosians. However, permit me to remind this gathering that the matter of budget presentation is essential. Beyond its constitutional stipulation, it requires the backing of law to make it implementable and executable, without which it becomes an offense punishable under law. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind this gathering that of recent, Lagos State budget has become a topical issue, vis-a-vis last administration, where provisions of the budget law was being viciously violated. It is worthy of note that the Nigerian 1999 Constitution recognizes the separation of power, and it empowers the State House of Assembly to dictate how the state fund is being expended and the manner of its presentation. Still on this, regarding the last administration, I have heard from different quarters about people asking why this House did not properly query the actions of the immediate former governor while in office. Alas, there is nothing of such. Let me take you down the memory lane that it was in this House that the fission scale, a policy of the last administration, was openly condemned and tagged a ghost. Remember too that this House questions the provision of the budget for this idea, but some people, faceless group calling themselves legislative probity and accountability, led a protest to this House. They used the medium to blackmail the House instead of reasoning with us to join hands in moving the state forward. By avoiding the treasury of the state from being touched unconstitutionally. With this, it is common knowledge that the last administration employed blackmailing, harassment to witch hunt and deprive the House from performing its duties appropriately. However, let me state here without any reservation that this House will never be deterred from doing its work, and we are ready to collaborate and support this administration and to ensure that our electoral promises are achieved and delivered promptly. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is worthy of note that Lagos State, as it is today, needs radical, aggressive, and holistic revamping. It requires an urgent economic and infrastructural turnaround. Mr. Governor must be bold to lay a solid foundation to be built on by successive administration. It is high time to come up with innovative ideas and strategies to bring about change to the state with the aim of taking it to the next level. It is common knowledge that doing things same way will yield same results. But when we desire new things, a marvelous and egalitarian society, we have to look inward and change the approach. To indeed move Lagos forward, there is need to focus more attention on rail to connect the entire Lagos. A rail from Ogun State boundary to Lekki-Epe side, a rail from Ikorodu also, same area should be urgently considered, and the ones under construction must be speedily completed. No amount of road patching, rehabilitation, and construction will really solve our transportation problem, judging by the influx of people into Lagos. Influx of people into Lagos on daily basis, with money or not, we have to start doing something new. At the same time, more still needs to be done about water transportation. Ilo River runs from Sango, links Alimosho or Joamuwo to CMS. Also, Odoyalaro runs up to Ikorodu. This might sound like a tall order, but we should start from somewhere. Dubai did not start in a day. They laid the foundation and continue building on it. Now it is an envy of all. Likewise, our education and health sector need adequate attention. Year in, year out, provisions are being made for these sectors, but they have not been well sustained. It is our hope that this time it will take a different and positive dimension. Our local government chairmen must also be on their toes and collaborate with the state government. Their efforts will definitely impact positively on the achievements of the state. Nevertheless, our dear governor, I charge you to be visionary and have a huge dream of paradise for our people. I charge you to employ wisdom of Solomon and courage of Moses that will change the tone and system of governments in Lagos State. I emphasize it is time we shifted from the old way. You can rest assured of the strong and constant support of this house. We are ever ready to walk the journey with you, but there must be total disclosure. My colleagues, may I also use this medium calling you to discharge your responsibilities without expectation for compensation. Also, you should continue to relate with your constituents regularly. Let me particularly thank our party leadership, starting from our Governor Emeritus, Asiwaju of Nigeria, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a discerning, financially ingenious, reliable, and able leader who has kept our state going in the right direction. His brilliance also has eventually made it possible for us to now continuously have a federal government that shares same progressive mind with us in this side of the country. In the same vein, I congratulate members of the Governor Advisory Council, all party leaders, most especially our state party chairman, Alhaji Tunde Balogun, for their efforts toward the landslide victory recorded by our party in the state during last elections. Ladies and gentlemen, we, as your representatives in this assembly, will not relent in our agitation for quality governance and qualitative representation. As for me, I will never sit on the fence when the battle is to ensure good governance works in the genuine interest of the people. Let me therefore at this junction assure Mr. Governor and all our people that my colleagues and I shall promptly and diligently commence work on the year 2020 budget just presented to this honorable house. in the same vein, calling on all the head of MDAs to answer the call of the House whenever they get such. We will ensure that Lagos State occupies the enviable position that has always been reserved for us. We will work diligently for the early passage of the budget so that developmental work can start in earnest in the state. In other words, our intention is to make this budget a special New Year gift to the people of this great state. I wish you all Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance, and I thank you all for your listening pleasure. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àjùmọ̀ṣe gbogbo wa ni. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Lábẹ́ olórí, current speaker, right honourable Obasa, Wàlímúdà China ní àjọ yóò ní olú tèmi. Agége 1. Obasa ló jẹ́ speaker, oníyẹ òpẹ́. Pẹ̀lú deputy speaker mi, honourable Asuweshi ní sọ́ni Lagos Island.
Thank you. You can be seated.
Olúyinká Agége Kúsì. Gbogbo yẹn kú àjò tí gbogbo kò ṣe dáadáa. Honourable Sálákíwá Adédayọ̀ Olúfẹ́mi o. Ajẹ́rọ̀mí Ìfẹ́lódùn 1.
Sanwo-Olu ta lẹ́nu jọ, Sanwo-Olu ta lẹ́nu jàre. My governor, Sanwo-Olu ta lẹ́nu jọ, Sanwo-Olu ta lẹ́nu jàre. Èyí tó kún fún ọkọ. Sanwo-Olu ta lẹ́nu jàre. nítorí káàkó mi pẹ̀lú ẹ̀sìpíkà ọ̀pásá ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ wa ló gbé ìlú òkè sí tí gbogbo wákìwákì àwọn ìwọ́ṣe fún ẹ o gbogbo ìpínlẹ̀ tó kù pátápátá. Ọbásátá lẹ́nu jọ, ọbásátá lẹ́nu jọ. Ọbásátá lẹ́nu jọ, ọbásátá lẹ́nu jọ. Orí tó kún fún ọ̀gbọ́n, tó kún fún ìmọ̀, tó kún fún òwe, ló bí ń darí wa. Ọbásátá lẹ́nu jọ.
Sáré máa ń mú onílé kọ́sìtè ọ̀sọ̀bá sẹ́mi. Lagos State ọ̀sọ̀bá sẹ́mi. Lagos State ọ̀sọ̀bá sẹ́mi. Lagos State ọ̀sọ̀bá sẹ́mi. Ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ lágbọ̀dọ̀ nínú rọ̀bà sáà. Bóyá mo ní ẹjọ́ tó máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ, ẹjọ́ tó máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, we've witnessed the presentation of the 2020 budget estimate by the governor and subsequently late. We have also listened to the response by the Speaker. Next should be the termination of this session by motion of adjournment. But before my motion, Mr. Speaker, I wish to inform that we intend to treasure this session with a very nice photograph session outside. But that photograph session will be preceded by a procession. And with the kind approval of Mr. Speaker, I wish to announce the order of procession. Please, we enjoin all to please cooperate with these arrangements. The procession will be led by the head of legislature, being the Speaker, to be followed by the governor, and subsequently the deputy governor, the chief judge of the state, then the Royal Majesty Alailua Oba Sanwo-Olu of Lagos will follow. Then we will have the deputy speaker to be followed by the wife of the speaker, wife of the governor, wife of the deputy governor, in that order, and members of LSHA, then members of the House of Assembly, and the members of the ESCO, Executive Council, Board of Permanent Secretaries, and other dignitaries will follow. Please, we enjoin all to bear with us with these arrangements. On that note,
To raise the mace back.
on that note, I wish to move, Mr. Speaker, that the resuscitated rule earlier made be confined to its place in rule, while other aspects of the law resuscitated, of the rule resuscitated. I so move.
Honorable Rahim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved by the majority.
All in
leader.
favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes of it.
My next motion and final motion, Mr. Speaker, is having come to the end of the session for today, I hereby move with the approval of the Right Honorable Speaker that this House adjourns synodal. I so move.
Honorable Olusola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes have it. This house stands adjourned synod. I rise.
Èkó at 50.